Hello, everyone. I see a lot of people are already here joining me. Very, very good. A little late getting started. I went to a place I was going to sit. It's a very beautiful place, and they were out doing work, and it was the sound of chainsaws everywhere. So I had to very quickly vacate to a different spot. As you can see, I'm not in my studio today, and oh my, lots of people already here. Good, good, good. Good to see you all. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Um, my subject today, my topic today that was given to me to speak about is the great I am. And one of the greatest phrases, greatest quotes of all time is from the Old Testament, whole experience of Moses in the burning bush, where God announces himself, herself, as the great I am. I am that I am. That's normally been interpreted as just kind of a name because people have always seen God as being this personal being, right? That you have a relationship with. But in that instance, something very different was experienced by Moses. Namely, that the sense I am that every single sentient being has is the I am. It's not that it's not that somehow you establish a relationship with God. You disappear, and the only thing that remains is this sense of I am that has been called God, that has been named God, has been and has had projected on it all sorts of different spiritual ideas, spiritual concepts, um, spiritual attitude, well, religious attitudes, really, that are really more about behavior and being uh, and living correctly and morality and ethics and all that, which is good, right? It's a good thing, right? Obviously, I'd rather be with ethical and moral people than unethical and immoral people. They're just the ones who like to run the world. But the genuine experience of the I am can only be an experience you have, right? I mean, after all, where else do you experience the I am except as yourself, within yourself? It's in the quiet precinct of your own being. Where else do we find I am except inside ourselves, except at the very essence of your sense of I am? So I don't have as much time today as I normally do. I have a private session after this, so I'm going to jump right into the meditation to get us into a sense, a very real, direct, and concrete sense of the I am. So close your eyes. If any of you are new here to meditation, or simply feeling kind of stressed out, or your minds are very active, a good portal into the meditative state or place is to simply, with your eyes closed, put your attention on your breath and consciously choose to slow it down and to deepen it. It immediately has a calming effect on the body, and it immediately brings your attention inward, away from all of the external distractions to simply the kind of this constant anchor that we experience of the body. And then after a few nice breaths like that, you let your attention kind of let go of its focus on the breathing. Kind of defocus. It's like you're not trying to look at anything in particular. You're trying to take in the whole view. Like when you're standing on the shore of the ocean or in the mountains and there's this enormous vista in front of you, just try to defocus your eyes to take the whole thing in. Kind of defocusing attention to take in the whole scene of this inner world of feeling and sensation. And again, notice the effect that has on the whole nervous system. As attention simply withdraws really into itself, not focusing on anything in particular. Very diffused, very open, very spacious. And there's a very simple, very self evident thing happening. At every moment, no matter what you happen to be focusing on, no matter what it is that's appearing in, in front of attention, be it very, very laser focused or very diffused, like we are now, that there's always another ingredient to it. There's always your presence. It's so quiet and so subtle that we always walk right by it. We don't see it. We don't notice it. We're so used to what's in front of attention, we rarely stop to notice what's behind attention. That is, what attention is reporting to. What is cognizing attention. Now, we don't notice it very much simply because it can't enter the field of attention. Attention cannot turn around and look at what is seeing attention. And so we kind of intuitively know, rather than know through seeing or perceiving. We simply intuitively know that what is seeing, what attention is reporting to, is yourself. Now, when I say that yourself, it's quite normal for the mind to present pictures of you, your normal self image, your self concept, all of the things you've known about yourself, memories and ambitions and the like. But notice that all of those are simply something appearing in front of attention. So even the thought of myself is something that appears on the screen of attention. And it is you that sees all of those thoughts. So whether those thoughts are good or bad, or wonderful or terrible, they're secondary. They're thoughts about you. And right now, we're actually being with you, the perceiver of all thoughts. And see if you can just feel in to the very, very subtle sense of your own being. Not being as a form or a person with particular characteristics, but just the sense of your existence. Nothing extra added, just that. Now, it can be a little difficult to do, a bit like riding a bicycle for the first time, because there's not anything you can actually see there. You can't see yourself. You're sensing intuitively yourself. And you can notice how, as you do that, attention is completely withdrawn from all external experience. This is what is meant by going within. And this sense of your own existence, isn't this the sense I am? Not the words I am, not even a feeling, but this subtle sense I am. Now, what if that sense of I am that you are aware of right now was exactly the same sense of I am that everyone else here is experiencing? What if it was the same sense of I am that everyone experiences? Not only everyone, but every being. It wouldn't just be a I am, it would be the I am. Notice that feeling of I am does not feel personal, doesn't feel like it's someone in particular. It's more like an animating principle. And yet, it's very much you. You're not different from that. What if that was the I am? The very same one Moses was speaking of. The very same one that announced itself to Moses. That this experience of the one I am is the heart of all genuine religious and spiritual experience, and the origin of spiritual life. As we begin to come out of this meditation, I want you to keep this as a contemplation. That this sense of being that we all have, when it's unmixed with just the everyday distractions and experiences we have, what's the real nature of it? Who is the I am? It's you, but it's more than you. It's you without you. It's this sense of being that has no particular form, no boundaries, no limits, no beginning, and no end. Let this be your contemplation today. So now take a nice deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And thank you all very much for being here and for going to this place with me. It's amazing to me that it is, once you see it, it's the most obvious thing in the world, and yet it's completely overlooked, even in spiritual traditions. It's completely overlooked. Rosario, hello sir. Hello Roberto. Rosario in Spain. Roberto also in Spain. Roberto says, I love your videos on tapping on lack virus. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Roberto says, I've been feeling completely paranoid about anyone not wearing a mask. Afraid of going to do the shopping. Afraid of walking down the street. It's getting somehow worse. Is that normal? Yes. Remember, this is an old, the fear that you're having isn't really about the virus. This is an old fear from a wounding of childhood that embodied it, emblazoned into your nervous system that you're not safe. And that undercurrent assumption of you're not safe has just found an external condition that it can project itself on and make you think that it's all about that. It doesn't have anything to do really with the circumstances. The fact that you keep your distance and somebody else, walking down the street 10 feet away from you doesn't have a mask on is not going to have any effect on you whatsoever. That's a reality. And yet, so what is projecting on that fear isn't actually in the circumstance. It's an old pattern. Right? Now, turn your attention towards the old pattern. Don't pay any attention to the actual circumstances, except the basic things we need to do to to be cautious, to be prudent, and then simply be with that presence, that be present with that feeling of fear, and ask it, what are you really protecting me from? What is this really about? And little by little, the reality of the energetic assumption that I am not safe, and I've got a video coming on that, tapping on I am not safe, will begin to come to the surface. Believe me, it isn't about the pandemic. It's a deep wound from a long time ago that is simply using this circumstance to project itself on. You want to get to the heart of it, and you do that through creating the inner space of safety and love. Robert Goldberg in Nevada. Hi, all. Yesterday was great. I ended up replaying I Am a regular from, replaying I Am a regular from Nevada, USA, and have been following GP for a few years. Wonderful. Yesterday, I guess you're talking about the satsang. Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun satsang yesterday. Roberto, maybe try watching the news less. I barely turn on my TV. Twitter's the same shit. Both very negative. It's hard to get away from it. World events affect us very much. I had never experienced anything like this in me. But yes, um, that sense of fear projecting itself on the current moment, an ancient sense of fear, and I'm not safe, projected upon the current moment, kind of draws attention to all the news and all the social media and everything, um, trying to substantiate there's really something to be afraid of. Well, there isn't, right? Right? And that which is afraid isn't about what's happening right now. And of course, the all social media is just fear, anger, hatred, ignorance, delusion, and greed, um, expressing itself in what sounds like it's very well-meaning stuff, but it's all ignorant. It is all people taking a position. All people taking a position. And when you take a position, you are in the realm of the egoic mind. So I am going to have to cut it a little short today because some people have been calling me for. Yeah, I'm supposed to start a private session here, and I have to get back to him right away. My day got kind of delayed in the morning. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here, but contemplate that sense of I am. Please do that. Please make that a regular meditation that you do, because it will lead you through all of the traumatic material, all through the nonsense, um, through all of the posturing and oh, Jay said you're talking about the sense of I and something that was aware of that song a week ago. I was kind of confused, but I sat with that for a little bit and realized that sense of I was a thought. I was watching. That's when it clicked. Yes. Well, it's not actually a thought, it's prior to thought, but it is a perception. It is something being experienced. So don't label it as a thought, but that doesn't mean your experience that clicking wasn't correct. Just don't let the mind label that as a thought. It is fundamental primary experience, right? Whereas thoughts are several degrees removed from that primary experience. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Laird. Thank you for your comment. I do have to run now and get on to my next appointment, but I love you all. Namaste.